spiritual journey began when I was born. Came to the understanding that we are all in this together, in the knowing that we are all connected. And that came through my death. My death was caused by alcohol and drugs.
Being dead for 10 minutes and then returning.
It's like a lotus flower gets shoved down in the murky mud and it rises back up.
My energies are starting to flow and balance and be in harmony with everybody else's, and I'm like, this is what I came back for.
She was so enthusiastic for life after that.
They don't understand that I have this expression of God that is so intense and so needed, and I am the light that shines through me.
Nicole is an angel, mentor, teacher, guide, sage. She has the infinite wisdom and ability to touch and heal people's lives.
Nicole has brought a lot of joy to my life.
I consider her as an energy healer.
What I love is her authenticity.
I was completely healed. It was absolutely amazing.
I am so happy and I am so blessed that I have met Nicole.
The kindest, most passionate, loving person I have ever met.
She's a gift from God.
I took the gun. I was almost ready to shoot myself. She saved my life.
She saved my life.
And welcome to our show, Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole. Good morning. It is a Wednesday. I am Cindy.
I am Nicole.
How are you today?
I am amazing.
You are amazing. You're always amazing. Are you never not amazing? I don't think so. No.
Nope.
No, I'm always amazing. We want to welcome you to Radio St. George, 100.3 FM in St. George. Also, Radio St. George on Facebook, live on Facebook. And thanks for watching. And we're going to be having that on our Facebook page, certainly, the video after we're done today, Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole. And we are going to get to healings today. We last week, we had a whole hour with Master Kuo from the Tao that was here from Taiwan, which was so fascinating. But it's all about Nicole and healing today. And you, before you stepped into the studio today, Nicole, you said, I'm getting messages.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Overflowing with messages of not only from Spirit and from Creator, but also from people.
Yes.
In asking me questions. And I guess my busy week went from going to meet Corey Good.
Yes.
And
will you tell, you know what, because I don't know, I know a little bit about Corey, but I don't know a lot about it. Will you tell everybody who Corey Good is? You met him in California a week from last weekend, right? Yeah.
So Corey Good, he is part of this space program, the secret space program.
Mm-hmm.
And he...
So there is one. There is a secret space program.
Yes,
yes.
There is. And,
yeah.
And I was drawn to him because of his way of speaking his truth through his lens. Meaning he speaks his truth very, very clearly, and he shares his story, what has happened to him, and he opens doors to people that are seeking similar things that they've seen or experienced. Mm-hmm. And I love that about him, so I wanted to meet him. And I wanted to meet David Wilcock because that man is great. He's just like really has put himself out there for higher understanding.
And I don't know who David is either, so tell us who David is.
Well, he went in search of like the alien forms or like higher education or and he kind of put himself out there because he kept hearing little things of information and
he just wanted to know.
Yeah, he's a seeker, and so he has bridges a whole bunch of different things, and reminds you anything that's not familiar to the human eye is alien. Anything, angels.
Yeah.
That's literally that's what
that's the definition, right?
So you're looking at all these different perceptions. 7 billion of us,
yes,
probably more than 7 billion.
Yeah.
And we get to go experience individually each person and how amazing they are. I trust by doing this that I get to experience everybody's experience or everybody's focus or everybody's
perception
there you go, of the light.
And be non-judgmental about it.
Yes.
Yes. That's the thing. So I think that you were having some people commenting like, are you doing this now? And are you doing this? No, I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just, it's not like first of all, you only do you.
Yes.
Okay, and I know that because I know you. You only do you, but you're non-judgmental, and you're listening to other people and what their perception is, and how their spirit and their body is walking around, and what they see and what they're doing. And light is light, and truth is truth, and what isn't, you know. Exactly. Right?
Yes.
So you're just accepting of the people that are living in the light, however they're choosing to live in the light.
Yes.
Is that a good way of saying it?
Yes.
Okay, good. So that's what we want to talk a little bit about today. It's kind of that non-judgmental, light. We all have. Some of us grew up with religion. Some of us did not. But you are always talk about spirit. The one thing that, and I don't know that it in the video beforehand if it said something about it, but you, when you came back after you passed away, you had your whole programming, if you will, anything that you had learned when you're little, it was gone. So you are just completely living in the light and accepting of others because of that, right?
Yes, I don't when you come back with this light and you forget the teachings here, and I've learned it from the children that are being born too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because they're seeing this amazing opportunity to come down here, and then they're realizing that it's heavy.
Yeah.
And that there's emotions, that this fluctuation of emotion here that causes it to be heaviness.
Right.
And that's the only thing that we can control here is our emotions.
Yeah.
The rest of our destiny is preset. So as I'm watching the pureness of thought, the pureness of heart, and then I'm watching other people put their perceptions and build a box for me or for them.
Yeah.
I choose not to do that.
Right.
And how I watch energetically each person share their experience, their true self, their true light is shining in their perception, their lens. And the biggest thing I learned is you cannot unconditionally love anybody or anything while in judgment. It's impossible.
I believe that.
It's impossible.
So if you're saying that you're energetically, you're seeing us in our light, but it's coming through our filter, if you will, right, or our lens. If we become more not judgmental, we don't have that lens as much anymore, and we can be brighter. We can be a brighter us. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah.
I like that.
And also it opens opportunities for you, because anyone in general, but when you think about it, if you're looking through this lens or through this perception that you're coming to me especially, it's not working for you.
Yeah.
And you're seeking for something, but the unwillingness to widen your lens has to be there as well.
Yeah. I think, when I was a little girl, my mom was very much, wanted me to be friends with my religion, and my dad said to me, I'm just going to tell you, there's good people everywhere. And if you are only going to be friends with people who believe what you believe and do what you do, you're going to miss out on life, and you're going to miss out on a lot of great people. And that's like the basic thing of just being in the human form. And you're saying kind of that in our spirit form, saying just you don't have to follow what they're doing or believe what they're doing, but at least be open to the fact that they have the light too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And I don't see going to the heaven's gate or heaven's door and saying, oh, well, I only allowed that light to come in and not that one, or I allowed it this way and not that way. They don't. There's not that limitation or door there's not even a door that's closed.
Yeah.
The only thing that we
if it's closed, we close it.
We close it. Yeah. Outside of that, it's all is welcome, and show us your light and you follow really you mesh really in harmony. So. It's been really interesting because the whole point of being is I went from a really scientific or speaking about aliens. Yeah. I mean, this gentleman in his lens.
I have to be honest with you, and I don't mean to be in judgment. It kind of freaks me out, right? Because I just it's not something I understand or know about. I just heard a little bit, and we haven't always heard good things, about that. So it kind of does. But I just love the fact that you went up and go, okay, I'm going to check it out, right?
Yeah, and that's why I went. I'm like, well, I want to see his energy, and I want
what his intentions are with all of that. Yeah,
well, just why am I drawn to bringing awareness to myself for this?
Yeah,
and if it's just because everything that happens around me, it's little steps. Something will be presented in front of me. I don't go searching. Really.
I know you don't.
Things just happen, and I'm like, hey, I've seen this Corey Good, and I've had other before I even knew that he was in the limelight, I had some other experiences that I was able to work with that name. It came up to me.
So it's kind of a piece of a puzzle for you.
Yeah, and so when the name came up again and again, I'm like, I need to go and find out why. I had no idea about much of what he was about until I got there.
Right.
And that's good.
Right.
Because
I
don't want to be, I don't want to have any sort of influence. So once I get there, I'm like, this man shook my hand and asked my name and looked me in the eyes in the most genuine way I've ever experienced. And this is truth. I've went to some really amazing healers, and I won't name some of these healers or these world-renowned geologists, these people that I wanted to meet and tell them gratitude. They wouldn't even give me the time of day to look me in the eye.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I agree. I know exactly what you're talking about. There is a huge difference in that.
And this man,
there's no respect almost. Yeah.
And he embraced the moment, and even though there's a lot of other people, he still shared with anybody that wanted to.
Yeah.
And I watched him, and I'm like, it doesn't matter what lens he sees through.
Right.
It doesn't matter what his background is. That is the kind of person that would catalyze love.
Right. And he came in to do his part.
Yes.
Because we all came in to do whatever part it is. So before we go to the phones, you were saying that maybe we should do our meditation beforehand.
Yes.
Would you like to do, are you ready to do that?
Yeah. So the explanation of that is that I had held a meeting on Sunday as well. So I've been busy.
You've been a very busy girl. Yes.
And this is like the third or fourth time that people have asked me to do the meditation or the stillness or just balance energies in the beginning because it felt better.
Right.
So I thought by doing that on the show too, that
keeps
would
things balanced.
And
be a little still.
And also remember, this is your show, the listeners. We are here showing up to assist you.
Absolutely.
To find the pathways to light, to find the pathway to self, and this is all to find yours, not ours.
Yeah.
We speak of our experiences, but Cindy and I are both so open that all things that lead to the light, all paths that lead to the light, we're there.
We're good. we were there yesterday, right? We're always there. And the thing is, I think it's what you said earlier, and I love that you said that when you're talking about us with our own lenses and our own perceptions. And sometimes we're not open because we weren't taught to be open, but our spirits are always open. And so if you can figure that out, it does make it easier to go to light and to be the best you. And so that's why we're here. We want everybody to be the best them, to show up what they came here to do. What a wonderful world, right? It's going to be just awesome when we all go, okay, I'm here, front and center, next, right? Okay.
So we're just going to go into a balancing, really simple. So meditation or stillness can be walking. It can be when you're talking. It can be bowing. It can be laughing. There's this stillness that we find within inside of ourselves, this center point, that when all things are just
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's like
it's all's well.
Bliss that you get, and that bliss in that epic moment of that brings us all together. And so I wish that we didn't have to use words to ignite memory cells in the body so we could just sit here in silence, but that doesn't work. So I'll do
we're on radio. Yeah. That really would.
So what I invite you to do is allow the sounds that come out of my voice, just the words, and when you feel the energy or the frequency of bliss, place it wherever feels good in you and your body. If you have some kind of thought of illness or suffering or anything like that, just bring this frequency or energy or feeling, sense, knowing.
Your love.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is just allow yourself to melt into your chair. Sorry. And then you're going to visualize this white light above your head. We all came from this cosmic source, creator, light. And as this opens up to you, you're going to start to feel tingles on your head or maybe around your body. Allow that. And remember, this is your energy and your power. Let it go through you. No one else can influence this because you're the one activating it. You're the one asking for it. You're the one asking to discover you. And when you do that with that strong intent, nothing can influence you.
Mm-hmm.
So as this is happening, you're going to imagine it going through the top of your head and down your body and into Mother Earth. Now, Mother Earth being an alive organism as we are, we're going to bring up this emerald green. Imagine you can just say, I'm ready to awaken. I'm ready to have vitality, and ask and receive. Wow, it was that easy. Allow it to go through your feet and up through your lower chakras. Chakras are your energy points in your body. And out the top of your head. This is going to connect you to everything that's above and everything that's below. Creating a balance within the heart space, but also your center, which is right underneath the ribs. And it's a yellow, beautiful orb or sun.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where we connect to the sun. I mean, think of the sun and the moon. They're always moving. They never take rest.
Mm-hmm.
So bring in that information from them. How do we do that? How do we be that? And that is like your nature inside of yourself, wanting to heal your body,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to clear your mind, and wanting to let go of all the stuff that doesn't serve you. And as this happens, then you're going to imagine a blue light just moving. Imagine like water flooding through the top of your head all the way down into Mother Earth, and just letting go. Let it go, that stuff that doesn't serve you, that doesn't bring you to your highest understanding or your highest essence of love. Let it go. Let it go. And then open yourself up for whatever today brings for you, because it's going to be beautiful. Allow
and receive.
Yes.
Receive the goodness.
Yes.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah.
We're all good. If you would like to call up and talk to Nicole, get a healing with Nicole, you can do that. Whether you're listening here in St. George or somewhere else, if you're on Radio St. George Facebook, if you're listening, whatever you want to do, just give us a call. The area code is 435. Number is 879-4100. That's 879-4100. Area code 435. 879-4100. Area code 435. And we'll just take your phone calls, and you can ask anything you want.
So I'm going to ask.
Okay.
I'm going to, so my grandbaby has, he had surgery this morning. His tonsils and adenoids were the biggest the doctor's seen, he said.
And how old is he? He's so
2.
little. He's 2. Aww.
So we're just going to ask him for love and blessings sent to him.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So please do it, because he's the sweetest thing ever.
Yes, he was quite the experience this weekend with the Dow. He was probably the highlight of most, because
he's so beautiful.
Yeah, and he would come in there with and then when they were doing ceremonies or lunch or anything that the Dow was doing, he was able to be a part of. And he is usually, I call him Wreck-It Ralph, because he's just like,
he's everywhere.
Loves it. Yes,
yeah, he's everywhere.
And he just loves to play it. And he sat quietly. He was just,
so he felt it all.
And he would move his hands like Master quoted. But the cutest thing is he'll also sit on my lap, and he'll hit my hands up, and he'll want me to put him on his energy points.
Oh.
He'll always put it on his little heart.
And he innately knows where he wants it.
Mm-hmm.
I would like it here today, Grandma. Does he call you Grandma?
Mama. Yeah.
Mama. Oh, cute. 879-4100 is the number to call if you'd like to call today. 435 is the area code. And we were talking before we went on the air, Nicole, because can you talk about the foundation? Because we haven't really, we've touched on that, but we haven't really talked a great deal about that.
So the Array of Hope Foundation has been, I can't really say how long it's been active. We got it all legalized just 4 months ago or something. But I have been working moving into different spaces and finding where people are suffering and assisting them. And we've been doing that on our own, and it's gotten too much.
Yeah.
And so we started this, and you're part of it.
Yes, I am. Proud and happy to be.
Yeah. And the new one is we're helping kids in Pakistan that need clothes and things like this. And so, and then each place that I've been called, either I learned about them from the Parliament of World Religions when I was there, or somebody has called me for blessings, or someone's been there. So we have some churches in India and things like that people are just really suffering.
Yeah.
However, when I'm sending these blessings out or this money out or whatever, I started really paying attention to the states. To where we live.
Yes.
And I have noticed that we have more homeless people, more addicts, more, not saying more or less, but more than I thought.
Right.
Because there's just no measuring who's more suffering.
Right.
You know, that doesn't make sense. But for me, more than I thought, because I'm moving through the addiction and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, they have these recovery centers and I'm focused on that part, and then I'm focused on healing centers, then I'm focused on what ours is going to look like. But I'm not really focused on really how many kids are suffering here, how many suicides are here, and then the big bullying is happening right now too.
Yeah.
And again, how can we go and hit these really intense information that is really happening? First, stop denying it.
Yeah.
When I talk about child trafficking, people are like, "How can you go into that suffering? And why would you share that here? Because we're in this bright, beautiful space, and you bring in this stuff." Well, guess what? Because you're in that bright, beautiful space, share it.
Yeah. Yeah,
that is what you're
needs
supposed to
the
do.
bright, beautiful space, those things. Yeah. So the Real Hope Foundation is really a lot about children. That's really what it's all about. Children of the world in every form and their needs.
And the energy behind it is that people aren't aware that there's alternative assistance.
Yes.
People aren't aware of that. So we have Noreen Jessup, as we've had her on our show. She has the 3 children that are suffering from PCAN.
Yeah.
And the energetics behind that have really assisted her and her entire family.
Yes.
And the kids are making progress, and it's bringing them a quality of life
that they didn't have before. Yeah.
They didn't. And here, so we have them, and we have other children that have gifts. These children are born into gifts. They are born with these gifts, and they're coming to this heavier world. It becomes very hard to be here.
Yeah.
And so I found out through delivery or assisting that baby being delivered of Brittany's that baby didn't want to come.
Yeah.
And then this weekend I got to do the same thing with another baby. While I was at the Dow, I assisted this other one, and I asked this other child the same thing.
Yeah.
And they're telling me, and mind you, they're not born yet. Their spirit comes to me, and I go and step in. And it's the same thing. Well, it's really heavy here. And so I'm putting all these things together, and it seems like so much at once. It seems like, how can this relate to this and this relate to that? It's all the same core.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Is that things are really chaotic.
Yep.
And the really sensitive people, souls, spirits, kids, adults aren't finding home. They're not finding a place of serenity. Therefore, they're not being able to let stuff go, and they're having episodes. They're on medication.
And living in fear, I think.
Yeah.
Because it's the first place you go is if you don't know how to navigate what's happening, like you hold your breath and just go, oh, like, and breath is life. Right, so you hold your breath, and then because I do that. I think that's a very human thing to do. And little ones who really don't even have a few years saying, "Oh, that may get better," they don't even know that would ever get better. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that we got some again, Noreen Jessup's children. I feel like that why they were put where they were, because when you find out how we met, I mean, it was so serendipitous. Is so that they have a drastic, a very noticeable symptoms. They have very noticeable stuff that's happening with them. So it's very noticeable their progress.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And then you go
Very
to
much.
these the children that are wetting their pants. They're 4 and 6, wetting their pants randomly.
Yeah.
And so they come to see me, and it's because the energy is so interesting that they haven't really came all the way they haven't came into their body all the way to learn it because they don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
Most people don't want to hear that, but it's the truth. And
Yeah.
and all these people that keep coming in different areas all over the world are bringing their kids and adults to me with things that people are like, no one can understand.
Mm-hmm.
So can you? And that's why my stuff seems so everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. I go in, I ask how can I best assist this person, and where is the core problem?
Yeah.
I don't Band-Aid everything else. I go right in and say,
Yeah.
okay, well, what is this? Why is this happening to the physical? The physical is born perfect. That's what it knows.
And then how can we assist that person to change it for the better?
Yeah, and right now it's that little spirit is like, wow, this information here is heavy, and I don't understand it, and it looked joyful, and then I get here and I understand that, well, the human experience is very educational.
That's a good word, Nicole.
I mean, there's these spirits that are like, wow, I can grow really fast down there because their range of emotions and all this stuff that's available. But once it gets here, the emotions are very interesting. We're living
slower energy too.
Yeah, and we're living all of these different cycles. This is science. We're living all these different cycles at once, and it's really confusing for most people. Instead of embracing it, they're going against it. And when you go against it, and when you push against energy, it's going to push back.
Yeah, yeah.
So instead of just moving backwards and going, hey, let's observe what's happening in the now, because this is now.
Yeah,
it's not changing. No matter what we do, it's not changing. It is the now, and so. Instead of pushing your will on it of what you think that wasn't working, you step in and say, okay, well, this is, you guys got permission. Science is starting to tell you that you're amazing. I think it gave you permission that you are light. Actually, they found biophotons in your body that aren't empty, and that you are amazing and that you're all energy. Science gave you permission to look further than the 3 senses.
Yeah.
I learned this weekend. I was like, what? You guys have to have permission to be amazing?
I think we all feel like we have to have permission for a lot of things. I think it's just kind of the way we were raised. It's the way society is, the way it is down here in the physical realm, Can we talk just a moment about the Array of Hope Foundation fundraiser? We're going to have one in September. And so we're mentioning this because what you were talking about with all the children and the little ones, and all that, we're wanting to assist whatever children, whatever their needs, like whether it's clothing or food or energy, to assist them to go, oh, okay, I can do this. I don't have to act up, or I don't have to, because let's be honest, we've talked about that, and again, whatever religion you are, these times are getting a little more and more intense, and a little more. I mean, we've got that volcano going on in spewing and oozing lava and gases in Hawaii, in the Big Island of Hawaii right now. I know there was a volcano around Alaska that was getting some earthquakes last week as well. And there was something this morning that I was just reading too. So it's kind of all over the place. Mother Earth is kind of just saying, okay, kind of had enough of it. There's shifting times. It's shifting energy. And I really believe in my heart that it will all be for the good, but it's scary while it's happening. And so that's why we're sitting here, right? I mean, in the sensitive ones, like you're talking about, these little children, they feel it even more than the grown-ups do. Even if you're a sensitive grown-up, guaranteed that little one who's 2 years old is going to be feeling it more than you, probably, I'm guessing, right?
The first thing we get to do is remember those sensitive kids are our future. Remember that they are way stronger than we came down.
Right.
The energetics and the spirit and the knowing that they have is ridiculous compared to what the adults are telling them.
And they came specifically now because of that.
Yes.
Right? So we have to take care of them.
Yes, yeah. and that's why so we are going to have this center of creation, this center where these kids come, and our energy's there. We've worked with them. We have similar ones instead of us traveling all over the world and giving energy at the airport and this and that. This place right here is going to fly these kids in, fly these people in. They're going to be influencers in their own space, right?
Yes.
And in our space, we're going to understand all these cultures because we've been traveling them. and finding out what this looks like. So these kids with gifts are coming in. These kids are learning how to be free of judgment. They're learning to expand their gifts, which we're already doing this on a small scale.
Right.
And it happened on purposely accident. I don't think that's a word, but or even a sentence.
I love it.
But everyone's like, so this accidentally just fell in your lap? I'm like, no, this
supposed to be. These
little pieces of stuff, of information from each trip I went on, they all lead to the whole. This wholeness of understanding that who these children are. If I hadn't traveled all over the place picking up information and seeing how they are, what lens they're coming from, what energy they're working with,
how they live,
we wouldn't have the space that is able to adjust.
Yeah.
And create with these kids, and they're so young that most of them, they love it. All of them, they love each other. They don't get a color. Yeah. They don't get the breakdown
are like that. It's so true.
And as we were moving into this, what I found is, and again, I get asked questions all the time. Well, why are you focused on the kids so much? Because the adults they need more stuff done, right? Yeah, they do, but they have to be willing.
Yeah,
and I found most of them aren't willing. So what I found is by assisting the child.
Yes.
These children go home and the parents learn.
Yeah, from the children.
From the children.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so I'm going to focus on the children because most adults aren't willing to be transparent, and they're not they're not willing to
learn.
They say I want to change, and so we do practices, and they'll bring themselves into their awareness and they'll go home and do the same thing.
Yeah, it's like, I want to change, but I'm not going to do that to change.
Or I want to. My favorite was, I want to be like you. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I said, I want to have this open heart and compassion. I'm like, okay, this is what I do. I don't do anything in order, and I probably never do anything twice. And all things that feel good are welcome. And I'm going to step in full 100% to be there, to show up every time.
Yeah, every time. Yeah.
But you have to do that too.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too hard.
It takes a lot of energy.
Can I heal with you? Can I do this? Can I do that?
Yeah.
When you do this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the only way that you can impact people, is show up 100%, understand completely where someone's coming from.
Be compassionate.
Yeah. And share that.
Judgmental. I think that's totally true, because the kids are like already open, but it's kind of like for losing weight. We're in a big area. I'm talking the United States, that there's a weight issue and they want to lose weight, and they're like, okay, so if you do this, this, and this, you can lose weight. Well, I don't really want to do that. That's not fun. And that's kind of the same thing. It's like, I mean, and I'm saying this, I'm like that stuff. We get a little stubborn in our little ways, and we want to do it, but we want to do it like how we want to do it. And then we do those things how we do it, and it's not working. And we're like, well, what's going on? Then we go to Nicole and go, hey, Nicole. And you're like, well, because you have to do it this way. No, I don't want to do it that way, right? That's what you're saying. Basically, that's how it is.
Yes, but I just had the biggest funny come through my head. Okay, remember when you said, oh, so you're kind of like a nurse, a spiritual nurse? Remember when you said that?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm not a surgeon. I don't know why this is, because you're just
assisting. Yeah, that makes complete sense. You're a spiritual nurse, but you're not doing the surgery.
Yes.
You're just gonna show the patient how to take care of themselves.
Yes. So that goes
Nurses
to like you're talking about, the overweight.
Yeah.
And people go and they have the surgery, but it comes back. I feel like that's the same. If you don't, me, if I. And I went in and said, okay, in the beginning, I would show you exactly how to do it and tell you how to get there. And when people would get there to their highest expectation, they're like, this is amazing, but they have an expectation on what amazing looks like. And that wasn't fun anymore, because they didn't have the path to remember why it was like the struggle was taken from them.
Well, and also, because they don't even know how to do it. Yeah. If there's not a struggle, I don't know how to do it. Or if there's not drama in my life, I don't know how to do it. Right? Mm-hmm. No, I think that's right on. I mean, it's and again, there's no judgment even with that, because I'm living in a physical body and I've done it. And when I catch myself, I literally laugh out loud.
But we laugh.
Like, oh my gosh.
So I work with you enough to know, and this is why we do what we do. But we laugh about it. We're like, oh my gosh, that was fun.
Yeah.
Most people don't like when you tell them. They'll even get it. They're like, oh, I could have done completely different and listened to my internal guidance, but I didn't. But they don't laugh.
Yeah.
They don't laugh that went back to what they thought was
because
easier.
they don't want you don't want to look in the mirror. And I think seriously, let me just say, the hardest thing in the world is to look in the mirror. And I'm not talking physically. I'm thinking your actions, your behaviors, all of that, and to think that maybe you did something to sever a relationship or to sever a job or whatever it is. That maybe you had a part and you can't just blame somebody else, because we would like to blame, right? Everyone likes to blame because you don't want it to be you. And you have to really look at yourself and go, what was my part? For me, even when I was little, it was never, maybe when I was really little, I'd point a finger, but the majority of the time I go, what did I do and what can I do different next time? And I think that's, once you can at least be okay with yourself, because I literally say to myself, ooh, I'm embarrassed that I'm even thinking these thoughts right now. I literally will say that inside myself, because it's like, that's not who I really want to be, and I don't really believe that's who I am. So let's figure out how to shift that. But there are moments, Nicole, that I will go, okay, I can't get out of it right now, so I'm going to have to just sit with this. I'm going to have to sit with being sad. I'm going to have to sit with being angry. I'm going to have to sit with whatever until it goes away. I'm completely aware, and I'm completely aware this is not where I'm choosing to be this moment. However, it's not wanting to budge right now. You know, that's where you come in, where you can go, you can assist, because sometimes you just need to know the truth. And sometimes the truth, you know, not as fun as you wish it were. But
awareness is I love, that's the word that popped out to me that you said, because being aware that something can shift. Yeah. Most people aren't even aware of that.
But they have an option.
Yeah, that they have an option. They're in their stuff, and they think that that's just how it has to be, and they bring more to it, to their stuff. If you observe the stuff that you've created, you can uncreate it. You created it. You created it. You're the creator.
I know, but let's be honest. You look at your life and you go, I don't remember creating this. Like, how did I do this? And I know that every moment we create. So if you don't like something, you can start thinking differently and being different to create something different. But if you're right. If you're not aware of how you created it, and you're like, okay, I just knew this was not in the game plan for me, and I'm doing it. Like, how did I get here? You know, I think there are moments with certain things in your life you just go, I don't seriously, consciously know how I got here, but I'm here. Right?
I think if people will sit with themselves long enough, well, I know that if people sit with themselves long enough, they will find out. But the thing is sitting with yourself, and when you find out, being okay with what you found out.
Oh, that's it.
Because when you find out, oh, I did do that, then you're like, no, it couldn't have been. And it's easier to make up an excuse why someone else did. Now, this is what, it was from the creator. It was from that other person, that other entity or thing that we call devil, or, you know, we blame something. We have to blame. The human thinks they have to blame something.
It's hard to imagine yourself inside yourself that maybe you were cruel. Or maybe you were unkind, not compassionate, jealous, all the things. Because there's always that list. You always, read all the self-help books and any kind of book, and there's a list of the good emotions and the not so good emotions, right? And that alone is a judgment. This is right. This is not right. No, what if it was just this serves me better than this, right? I mean, there's a way to look at it in non-judgment, because, like you said before, with the little babies coming in, what's up with all these emotions? That's how we learn.
Well,
right?
That and an expectation to the outcome is what everybody has. And so as I observe people talking about books and they talk about different kind of things, it depends on what book they read, the perception they took it from, and what lens they're out of. All these different things. So when I bring someone to a core emotion, say that they have hurt someone's feelings and they don't, their perception is they didn't. So they didn't hurt this person, and so they don't know why they're carrying it. One, you are carrying it. Yeah. You're admitting you're carrying it.
Right.
Actually, number one is it doesn't really matter, because each individual has this different perception and an expectation of what hurting someone's feelings looks like. Or an expectation of what hurting your feelings looks like.
Yeah.
And so instead of just forgiving this whole situation, both sides, you want to make an excuse of who's right and who's wrong.
So true.
And even if you're, well, I'm almost wrong. I'm almost
sort
right,
of
though.
Kind of right.
But she shouldn't have said this.
Yeah.
But when people make comments, you're not taking it as they mean it anyways. You're taking it through your own lens.
That's very true.
And so I keep saying being an observer of conversations, because I watch these feelings getting hurt every day. Do
you see that in an energetic way too? What does that look like energetically?
Static. It's just static.
Interesting.
And so I don't understand emotion. Like everyone around me knows I don't understand that at a level that you guys do. But what I do understand is the energy behind each word, each emotion, each action. I can go, oh wow, that's why you have a stomach ache, as you have seen my work. Oh, it was a word from a child when you were a child, and then I go into your mom's head, and I'm like, oh, well, her energy. I'm like, she didn't really mean it like you took it, and then it just expanded, and then how you took it as a child really became real to both of you,
and it almost becomes a belief then too, depending on what was said, right?
Yeah, and so it's like let's dissolve that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't work right now in your life anyway. You're
grown up now.
Yeah. And so as we move these out, and you feel lighter and lighter and lighter, then your frequency and your perception starts to shift too.
Yes.
And sometimes it does take diving in there and saying, this is why you feel this way, is because you're seeing it through this scope or this age, and what can we do to move that out? That brings you awareness,
right,
of not to do it, and also expands your awareness. Most people don't want to do that work in the first place. It's
a lot of energy to do it, right? And don't you think that when you get clearer, there's a lot of responsibility with that? Yeah, because now you're aware that you would be hurting somebody's feelings. Now you're aware that your words are going to matter. The tone of your voice is going to matter. Your intention behind it's going to matter, and that's a responsibility.
And people think that, but for me, what if talking kindly, saying I'm sorry,
and meaning it,
just what if? When we have a lot of what ifs, what if that happens, what if this happens?
Yeah,
they're all what if negatives. Well, go, wow, what if I just said, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then in your head, be like, maybe they're seeing it through a different perception lens. And that's okay.
Right.
Because I love unconditionally. And in order to love unconditionally, I can't have judgment, nor do I want the judgment. Why would you want that?
Because it's exhausting and it's heavy.
You gave yourself the right to judge.
Yeah.
You were not born with that. Unless you were born, how you were born in this perfect, your organs, they all have a right to connect together. They have this rite of passage to beat together, and you don't tell them what to do.
Right.
They do it.
Right.
We gave ourselves the right to suffer. We gave ourselves the right, because once you become aware, now you're allowing that stuff. You're like, bring it up, come back.
Yeah. You're right. When things are whatever, how we were brought up or whatever, and whatever we believe, and then if it's all of a sudden gone, we go, wait, I don't know how to navigate. I don't know how to function anymore, because that's all I knew.
Yep.
When there's better and there's brighter. If anybody wants to call, by the way, we have like a few more minutes. So I just was thinking, I haven't given the number out in a while, so let me do that. 879-4100 is the number to call. 435 is our area code. 879-4100 if you want to talk to Nicole. By the way, if you want to get to Nicole, if you would like a private healing with Nicole, you can do that. You can find out all the information at energyhealingbydesign.com. It's on the web, energyhealingbydesign.com. You can check out Nicole, and always check out our Facebook page at Remembering Connections with Cindy and Nicole. Yes. What were we going to say?
And we have a gathering tonight, and it's the energy, it's Friends Gathering and Energy Circle. So we kind of share in energy, and we do this the second Wednesday and the fourth Wednesday of every month.
Okay.
And we were doing a potluck, but it just seemed like there was a lot of food.
I was just going to ask you, is there a potluck, or is it just, okay?
Or just bring a treat if you want that can be shared, because we have we'll talk a little bit about the Tao, and a lot of people will be there that came and experienced it. And so you can hear that, but also we share gifts, and people that have been my past clients, or they have been clients of other energy workers, will come in just to have that energy boost and that understanding, and be able to talk about something that this isn't an everyday conversation. This is putting ourselves out there more than people understand.
However, when you're talking about unconditional love and starting with the non-judgment thing, it just makes you feel accepted.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want that? Right? I want to, is at your office, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me tell everybody how to get there in St. George. It's 352 East Riverside Drive, and that's A1. So it's the second floor. So 352 East Riverside Drive, Suite A1, of course, it's A1 in St. George. So if you want to check it out at 7 o'clock tonight, do they have to RSVP or anything, or?
No. And if you haven't heard the story, and you're curious, then we're going to start at 6.
Okay.
So 6 is an open discussion,
Oh, good.
and then the energy circle starts at 7.
Okay, we have somebody on the phone. I have been feeling this for a while, so that's what I was waiting for. So, hi, you're on the air with Cindy and Nicole. Would you like to talk to Nicole today?
Sure, I'd love to talk to Nicole.
Okay, great.
Hello.
Hi, Nicole. Hey, it's Barrett. I just wanted to call because I figured maybe I could get away with it again.
Oh, hello, Barrett. Oh, Cindy
it's the
loves
happy
you.
laugh.
Yes,
It's the
Cindy
happy
loves
laugh
you.
guy. Yes. You sound better than last
can't
week,
help it.
Barrett, or the week before. I mean, a couple weeks ago. You sound better. You sound like you're feeling better.
It's coming along. I had this little cough, and it's just taking forever to go away. And it was funny because I went down to that event with Master Quo this past weekend. I could only go down for the weekend. And I went down with some good friends of mine who introduced me to Nicole. But anyway, we went down there, and while I was down there, I wasn't really coughing. So I don't know, maybe it was just being amongst all that really fantastic energy. That's probably what it was. So maybe I can wake up to that a bit more again. I just thought I'd call because when I was down there, Nicole, you talked about, I think maybe I was talking to your mom, who, of course, is just amazing. And for those who don't know, her mom is very spiritually gifted as well, in different ways.
And gorgeous, too.
Yeah. And she's great. And so anyway, but we were just talking, and there was this theme that was coming up between what you were saying and what she'd mentioned about the need to, open my heart. And I thought, that's always a theme that comes up every now and then for me. And you mentioned how my aura was looking very yellow all the way up the side of the left side of my head, which is associated so much with thought, with that third chakra center. And you mentioned the need to open my heart, and it'd be interesting to see what happened after the process that we went through with the Tao and everything. And so I don't know. I just thought I'd call to see if maybe I could get some help in opening my heart up further. That's, I guess, the essence of my call.
The first thing that comes to me, well, thank you for calling, and thank you for joining us this weekend, is that, isn't it interesting where your chest congestion is?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's covering your heart. And so you opened up when you came down here, and then you closed back when you went back home. So
yep.
Sense that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remember that we brought the light down, and we embraced Mother Earth and our energy earlier today on the conversation. So now we're just going to focus on your heart space, and you're going to spin that energy out. So use the yellow. If the yellow's talking to you, the yellow frequency, color, vibration, smell, sound, anything that comes to you, grab onto it, vibrationally grab onto it, and turn it inside of your heart space. At the same time, we're going to allow your crown chakra, which is at the top of your head, and it's purple. We're going to go ahead and open that up and spin it. And your root chakra at the same time. Root chakra is going to keep you balanced, just in case that you weren't open all the way. We don't want to open your heart up and not have those chakras open as well. We've had, we'll share that next time, but come to the meeting tonight, and you can hear a story about that.
Well, I wish I could have. If I lived down in St. George, I would. But I'll be there in spirit.
So what's happening now is your laughter is feel your breathe in and feel that chest. Fill it with this divine yellow, gold, white, and then blow it out of your mouth. And what's important is watch it dissipate. Now it's clearing your mind too, that it's not there, because you moved it through your heart, and now your mind is tracking it out. how that works or why. It doesn't matter. It just does. Now align yourself back. Open your chest up. Put your shoulders back and breathe in. And out, of course.
Oh, yeah, that.
And bring in the joy, because the joy is loud.
Yes, joy is loud. Are you feeling better now?
It is. It's definitely helping.
You need to just laugh a lot. You just need to laugh. You need to go to rooms and laugh and make everybody else happy, because the laugh is your laugh is happy. It is.
And clear your space with that. Like, move around your house and laugh in the corners.
Yeah, laugh's good.
That sounds interesting, but send that vibration.
Or watch
all
a
over.
show, a TV show, or something that makes you laugh. Something that makes you laugh. If you can't do it, but just like laugh and think you're crazy. He can. Okay,
can you hear him?
He can laugh.
That man has the best laugh ever.
I'm gonna laugh.
Okay.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thank
Barrett. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, the number to call, 879-4100. We've got a few minutes left. Want to remind you again that Nicole is having a get-together, an energy fun get-together at her office tonight at 7 o'clock. If you want to hear the story about how she died and came back, that starts at 6 o'clock. Located at 352 East Riverside Drive, that's Suite A1 in St. George. You can also go for more information and to find out how to get a personal healing with Nicole at energyhealingbydesign.com. energyhealingbydesign.com. You're listening to Radio St. George, 100.3 FM at Dixie State University. I wanted to mention, if somebody's listening for the first time, Nicole, you had Barrett on and you were, going through the healing with him. How we've mentioned this before, but if someone's listening for the first time, like, how does she do that when it's on the phone and she's in St. George and he's in Salt Lake? Can you just quickly tell us about how you do that?
Well, healing in spirit know no time or distance, and it will show up when you're ready. It's kind of like when the student's ready, the teacher will come. Well, that's how energy works too.
Yeah,
it's when you're open up and that intention is there. And we could go into details how different people's perception of how it works, but right now it's working.
Yeah,
it's working, and so you mirror that divine light, and that light is going to tell you where to go and how to get back to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just aligning to
it really is. I mean, you do assist, and then we get to all, just whoever I know has been healed with you, because you won't even say it's you. You will, you get to go on and say, oh, now this is, so I'm going to say I don't have to think this about this, and you can release things yourself, right?
Yeah. Because people need to know the path there. They need to know how it's their path, it's their experience, and it's not about, I can show them the end result or the beginning result, because they're both the same. It's like, how do you get there? Most people ask me that. How do you get there? How do you get there?
Yeah.
But what they're really meaning is put me there now. They're not asking,
Give me the magic pill, Nicole.
Yeah. They're not. It's like, if you follow the path and you find your own truth and share it, because that's where you learn your gifts. That's where you learn your abilities.
Right.
And I'll be there to support you. And it's working. That's all we can say is it's working.
When you are healing somebody and you're showing them, like you said, the path for them to assist themselves with the Creator, do you see, like, okay, best case scenario, what that person could be?
Well, I see their true potential in their light.
That's what I meant, yeah.
And I see 3 or 4 different pathways that they're going to go on.
Wow.
And
interesting.
I can, but all I get the opportunity to do is give them energy bursts, energy influences of their own energy, because most people forgot their energy is amazing. Mm-hmm. So when you share with them their divinity and you say, here, this is what you can feel like their memory cells are going to, no matter what path that they go on, they're seeking that remembrance. It's more tangible now than just being beyond the veil and a thought. They're feeling it.
Yeah. And when you're in a physical body, if you're feeling it, it's big.
Yes. And And again, the Ray of Hope Foundation is going to be that center of creation, of learning, and it's going to be not only for children but for adults, because we need all kinds of people to volunteer to make this happen, to bring their education, to bring their building blocks, like things that people, like your skills. Yeah. Let's do this. Let's help people awaken. or be awake.
Yeah.
Or all the above.
I was just thinking it's there's nothing for me anyway. And my son was asking me recently about a friend that was asking him, who's kind of having a hard go at his life and not knowing what to do. And I'm like, if you ever do, you start doing just what you said. You start serving others, assisting them in what they need assistance with, and you find your light like that. You find your light like that. So you're talking about, like, we need the other adults for the children too. We need everybody to just show up. And then if you don't think you have it, or you'll find it, because you're doing what we're all supposed to be doing, is helping each other to our greatness, right? And that's what it is.
The best thing about that is that people have an expectation of what their gifts look like, because they think they should look like mine or like yours.
Yeah.
But in reality here is they have their own gifts, and they're just as amazing. And when you show up, you find that your gift is.
And don't you think that the more you do it, the bigger they get?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that. Like the more you trust yourself, and the more you go, okay, I can do this, the bigger they get.
Well, your body has to practice.
Yeah.
Because it's
just with everything.
I think you've been shut down for, you've been gradually shutting yourself down for all these years. You have to do the same to awaken back up, or your body only can handle so much energy, negative or positive or neutral. And so when you're letting go of belief systems and of stuff that doesn't serve you, that's not working anymore, and you're filling it with stuff that is working, that takes a process to move out and put back in.
All right. Well said. We have to go already.
Yes.
Can you believe the hour is already done? Remembering connections. Remember energyhealingbydesign.com. Check out Nicole, her story, and get a reading. I don't want to say reading. Get a healing with her, because she's amazing. We'll be back here at 11 o'clock next Wednesday. Remembering connections with Cindy and Nicole. Have yourself an amazing Wednesday.
Amazing
Wednesday. An amazing Wednesday. Thanks, everyone.